In a bustling town filled with dreams, ambitions, and rushing footsteps, there lived a beggar named Mike. Everyone knew him. The man in the faded brown shawl who sat near the old banyan tree, quietly watching the world go by. But what people didn't know was the reason behind his refusal to accept help. Many offered him food, money, clothes, even shelter, but he politely declined every single time. This is not a story of poverty. It's a story of perspective, purpose, and a powerful inner transformation. It's about why one man, broken by the world, chose not to be fixed by Itand, what he taught the world in return. Every morning, as the sun rose above the skyline of Darapur, shopkeepers would open their shutters, milkmen would rattle by on their cycles, and the sleepy town would begin its daily routine. Near the old temple stood a banyan tree, with roots that had witnessed 100 years of history. Under it sat Ramesh. Mike wasn't like other beggars. He never stretched out his hand. He didn't follow people or cry out for alms. He simply sat cross-legged, eyes closed, a soft, faint smile on his face. Children would ask their parents, "Why doesn't he take anything from anyone?" And their parents, confused themselves, would reply, "Maybe he's mad, or maybe he's proud." Every now and then, someone would try to help. "Here, have some bread," said a woman once, placing it beside him. Mike opened his eyes gently, smiled, and said, "Give it to someone who is truly hungry." "But aren't you?" "I was," he said, once. 12-year-old John, a boy with bright eyes and a restless mind, passed Mike daily on his way to school. He noticed that Mike didn't act like any beggar he had ever seen. One day, unable to suppress his curiosity, John approached him. "Why don't you take anything? My mother says we should help people like you." Mike smiled. "That's very kind of her. And of you. But what makes you think I need help? You're sitting here all day. You have no job, no house, no family. Maybe that's by choice," Mike said, looking up at the sky. "Who would choose this life?" John asked, puzzled. "Someone who has already lived another life and found this one more meaningful." John didn't understand, but he started visiting Mike daily, drawn to the calmness the man radiated. After many visits, Mike began to open up. "Do you know, John?" he said one afternoon. "I once wore a suit every day. I had a big office, employees, money, and a family. You were rich? Very. But I was poor inside. I chased everything the world told me I should want. Success, reputation, wealth, and I got it. But I also lost something important along the way." "What did you lose?" "Myself." Mike told Arjun about his younger days. He had been a corporate executive, always busy, always striving. His wife had once said, "I miss the man who laughed without checking his phone." His son had stopped waiting for him to come home. One day, in a race to a meeting, Mike didn't notice a red signal. An accident. A life shattered. He lost his family. "I woke up in a hospital with broken ribs and a broken heart. Everything I'd built had vanished in a moment. But in that loss, something awakened." Mike left the city after recovering. He wandered for months, no destination, no goal, just silence. And slowly, he started seeing things he had never noticed before. The way leaves flutter in the breeze, the quiet dignity of an old couple sharing a meal, the sound of temple bells at dawn. He began living in the present. One day, he said to John, "I sat under this banyan tree and felt something I hadn't felt in years. So I stayed." "But why not take help?" John asked again. "Because help implies I am in need. I am not. I may not have money or possessions, but I have clarity. Most people run around trying to fill a void. I've learned to sit with mine and found it wasn't a void at all." Every year, the town held a festival, lights, music, feasts. This time, the mayor declared they would honor someone who had impacted lives silently. Without much debate, the town suggested Mike. When told about the honor, Mike politely declined. "I have no need for recognition," he said. But the townsfolk insisted. So on the final day of the festival, a stage was set, and Ramesh was gently brought forward. John stood beside him. Mike looked at the crowd and spoke for the first time in public. I am not a man to be honored. I am just someone who stopped chasing what the world told me I should want. In silence, I found myself. And when you find yourself, you realize you never needed to run. People were silent. The applause came much later, but his words stayed. Years passed. Mike grew old. Arjun grew up to become a writer. He often told the story of the beggar who refused help, but he never called him a beggar again. He was the richest man I ever knew, John would say. And when someone asked, why did he refuse help? John smiled. Because he didn't need saving. He had already been found. Moral of the story. Sometimes we mistake stillness for weakness, silence for suffering, and simplicity for sorrow. But real strength lies in choosing peace over noise, meaning over money, and presence over perfection. Don't always chase success. Sometimes, by just being true to yourself, success of the deepest kind will find you.